hump day. Welcome to Coastal Living. You know, on Wednesdays, we like to talk health and wellness, and I think a lot of us, especially this time of the year, are experiencing some stress, maybe even chronic stress. And I think the first thing you can do is admit that you're experiencing that. The next thing you can do is find help. So we've got some really great resources for you right here in the Coastal Bend. We'll talk about that. We also have our doctors in the house and so much more to discuss. So you know what? Let's just get straight to it. Welcome to Coastal Living.
It can be hard juggling work, family, and all the things in between.
More people than ever are reporting feeling chronically stressed. Stress that comes, that happens to all of us, but then that stress never goes away.
Chasing Life podcast host Dr. Sanjay Gupta says long-lasting stress puts your body into overdrive as levels of the primary stress hormone cortisol rise and increases the heart rate.
Could leave you feeling dizzy, could leave you feeling nauseated. If it's just short-term stress, which again we all have, then your cortisol levels will go back down. But with chronic stress, your levels stay elevated. It's kind of like leaving your foot on the accelerator of your car.
Gupta says some of the best ways to fight back against chronic stress are to get enough good quality sleep. Those Z's allow your body to relax and focus on having a healthy diet.
Comfort foods can be comforting, but also stress-inducing in the long run.
If social media or news events are stressing you out, take a break. Instead, spend time with family and friends. Gupta says staying connected is key to relieving stress. There's also relief in things like deep breathing and meditation.
One of the most helpful tools, probably exercise. Exercise releases these feel-good endorphins, and you can even tailor the exercise to your specific mood.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The doctor is in the house, and today we're here with Dr. Lewis at South Texas Brain and Spine, right off of 3rd Street in the downtown Corpus Christi area. Now, spine surgery can be very intimidating, a very scary term, but unfortunately as we age, it's almost inevitable that our discs are going to shrink or degenerate at some point, and we may need to look into a spinal procedure. But the good news is that Dr. Lewis is going to share some strategies, some different methods that we can do that are not only less invasive, but allowing us to keep that movement in our spines, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, so I wanted to show you folks today, we have 5 bones in the lower back, and almost all of us will have low back pain at some point in our life. And when we're young and healthy in our 20s and 30s, we have plump, healthy discs and a nice curve to the back. But as we get into our 40s and 50s, we get bulging of the discs, and that's what a bulging disc looks like. Or we can get a herniation, which looks like a jelly coming out of a jelly donut. And then when we get into our 60s and 70s, arthritis creeps in, and we can get degenerated or worn out discs that lose their cushion and collapse down. And that's why you'll see your parents and grandparents get shorter and more stooped when they get older.
So we are shrinking.
Yes.
Okay, that's true.
After the age of 24.
All right,
yes.
Great news. Okay, first question that comes to mind, is there anything we can do to prevent this from happening? Can I hang from the monkey bars for 5 minutes a day? Can I fight gravity?
Yes, yeah, inversion tables, core strengthening exercises that strengthen the stomach muscles and the back muscles, avoiding smoking. High blood pressure, unfortunately, contributes to it, high cholesterol, and kidney disease.
Okay.
And so we try to treat all those non-operatively, of course, and then if it gets to the point where it's interfering with your lifestyle, you can't get a good night's rest or do things around the house, then we can stabilize it, and we can also restore that height where it's collapsed down. We can put a small spacer in there and bring you back into your 20s and 30s in terms of height. And then a little plate to help stabilize it and prevent that from migrating. And then even more exciting is today, in 2024, we have motion preservation, where we actually have artificial discs, just like artificial knees and hips, and we can keep our range of motion. It allows people to flex and extend and tilt side to side.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and the most common levels where we see arthritis in the low back is at the lower 2 levels, between 4 and 5, and 5S1, which is the tailbone. and these are rated to do that. These operations also are outpatient, and they're muscle sparing, so it doesn't have to be a long, arduous recovery. And people can start showering the next day. They don't have big drains, and it makes a big difference.
Well, that's great news, I think, for so many of us, especially since we know that age is inevitably going to send us in this direction anyway. But don't call Dr. Lewis asking him to make you 3 inches taller. That's not what we're here for, okay? Medical purposes only, and we're so grateful to have professionals like yourself to explain these things in more detail. Again, things that we may encounter throughout our lives or something we've already seen, and it's great to know what our options are. So thank you for educating us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Coastal Living's Doctor in the House is paid for by South Texas Brain and Spine Center.
The clock is ticking now on planning your Thanksgiving feast. So we're looking at ways to stock your pantry for less and get the best deal on the centerpiece of that meal, your Thanksgiving turkey. Turkey prices are down compared to last year. That's clucking good news, according to turkey farmer Stephanie Tuies, who has managed to keep her prices steady.
That's the same price for the last 2 years. The price of turkey food goes up, prices have to go up. We were able to make some changes elsewhere.
For the rest of the meal, consumer savings expert Andrea Warrock says shop early with different items on sale each week.
What grocery stores will do is rotate sales on popular Thanksgiving ingredients to get you into the store.
Various retailers are offering Thanksgiving bundles to help you save. Aldi says you can host a feast for 10 for only $47. Target claims you can serve 4 people for $20. And Walmart says its holiday meal serves up to 8 people for less than $7 per person. A downside, though, Warrock says these deals may not include everything you need.
There could be other things that you want to add to it, and so now all of a sudden it's inflating the cost.
She says one deal to pay attention to is a free turkey if you spend a certain amount.
Some stores may say you need to spend a certain amount in one shopping trip, which you could still meet that minimum threshold if you buy those non-perishable ingredients for Thanksgiving and your daily groceries.
Other ways to save: make your feast a potluck. Buy frozen fruits and vegetables over fresh. Avoid pre-made desserts, which tend to cost more. And lastly, Warrock says don't waste your leftovers. If you have to trim the budget, farmer Stephanie Tuies would rather cut back on the sides, not the main event.
Never skimp on the turkey. I mean, how can you go wrong with a fresh turkey?
That way you have a great meal and you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese.
Can y'all believe that Thanksgiving is only about a week away? Now, if you're already dreading the Thanksgiving feast preps, Butterball has at least one step in the process that you can cut out. They have a cook from frozen turkey that you do not have to thaw. I mean, isn't that like 99% of the problem? The country's largest turkey producer says that cooking the turkey is only 2 steps. You unwrap it and you pop it in the oven. It also doesn't need basting, brining, or even seasoning. Now, y'all, I'm gonna be honest, I've never cooked a turkey in my entire life, and I don't have any intentions to do so, but this is kind of appealing. Butterball says it made a specially formulated brine that keeps the meat moist during the roughly 5-hour-long roasting process. This could be a game changer for Thanksgiving, especially those of us that don't know the first thing about cooking a turkey. Thanksgiving is around the corner, and some of you may be panicking because you're either clueless in the kitchen or you just don't do the big gathering, but you do want a tasty Thanksgiving-inspired meal on this special day. Well, guess what? We've got you covered. There are some local spots open to accommodate your needs. Let's start at Saltgrass Steakhouse, open from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Thanksgiving. You can enjoy the flavor of that open campfire at Saltgrass Steakhouse with steaks, chicken, seafood, char grilled to perfection, of course. But on Thanksgiving, you can try a delicious turkey meal and a side of pumpkin cheesecake, honey. That dinner's gonna go for $23.99 per person. You can dine in or you can take out. They have a Thanksgiving Day to go family pack for $90. That includes Thanksgiving turkey breast, dressing, gravy, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, the works, y'all. So reach out if you're looking for a little help in the kitchen. Old Steakhouse is open from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Enjoy the turkey dinner served with dressing and 2 sides, or switch it up and have a hand-cut mesquite grilled steak or any other delicious menu item. Top it off with a sip from the full-service bar and call it a day, honey. Our friends at UNI Steakhouse are always bringing it, and they are not giving up on Thanksgiving. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You've got 6-ounce sirloins, hearty ribeyes, charbroiled over an open mesquite flame. You can't lose. Or if you're not into Thanksgiving, you can try Mexican, Italian, Greek, seafood. They have it all at UNI Steakhouse. But if you are looking for that traditional dish, they will have Thanksgiving dinner during operating hours. Our friends at Omni Hotel are getting creative with a delicious buffet-style Thanksgiving brunch. From 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., a reservation is required to reserve your spot. However, lots of seating available. So enjoy a delicious culinary experience with traditional brunch favorites, expertly carved specialties, irresistible house-baked desserts, and so much more. Pricing is pretty good. Adults, $65, that does include your mimosas. Children, 6 to 12, $30, and children 5 and under, complimentary. Sounds good to me. Give them a ring and make your reservations today. A few other places we heard are open this Thanksgiving are Cracker Barrel, Bien Marie, and Landry Seafood. So just a few. I'm sure there are more, but we want to make sure you're in the loop in case you're looking to dine in or take out this Thanksgiving holiday.
Of the millions of Americans who get sick from foodborne illnesses every year, the CDC estimates 128,000 are hospitalized and 3,000 die.
That just a small number of bacteria can actually cause illness.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says many of the foodborne illnesses making headlines lately are happening outside the home. He says whoever preps food needs to pay close attention to temperature and avoid the danger zone, which is between 40 and 140 degrees.
So if you're getting cold food, it should be colder than 40 degrees. If you're getting warm food, it should be steaming hot, greater than 140 degrees. Do those things. That'll go a long way towards keeping you safe.
The CDC says protecting against foodborne illness at home can be done with 4 simple steps. First, clean. That means washing your hands before, during, and after preparing food and after handling things like uncooked meat. You should also make sure utensils, cutting boards, and countertops are clean. And rinse fresh fruits and veggies under running water. The next step is separate. Keep raw meat, chicken and poultry, seafood and eggs away from other foods. Don't use the same cutting boards during food prep. Third, cook foods to the right temperature. Using a food thermometer is the only way to do that. Finally, chill. Refrigerate perishable food within 2 hours. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
We're off to a great start, but don't go anywhere. Lately, we've been featuring some Coastal Bend history with our buddy Andy Lascano, and I'm learning the coolest things about the Coastal Bend, and I think these are great tales to tell to your children and their children. So today we'll be learning more about the 1940s courthouse right here in Corpus Christi. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I'm Andy Lascano, and court is now in session in the Nueces County Courthouse, the historic, the original Nueces County Courthouse. We're going to go back 100 years and tell you the stories about when this place used to be one of the finest in the land.
In August of 1913, Nueces County voters approved $250,000 in bonds to replace the aging and overcrowded Holub Courthouse, which had been built in 1875. Washington, D.C. architect Harvey L. Page was hired to design the building, and Gordon Kruger Construction was hired to build it. The site for the new courthouse was occupied by both the first courthouse, built in 1853, and the Holub Courthouse. Also on the site was the city jail, which was built in 1892. All 3 buildings were demolished, and a groundbreaking was held on St. Patrick's Day, 1914. The building is a 6-story classical revival structure. It was built of reinforced concrete with a brick facade and terracotta trim. A decorative staircase at the front entrance led courthouse visitors to the 2nd floor. The Mesquite Street entrance was dominated by ornate columns representing courage, temperance, wisdom, and justice. The center of the building is flanked by 3 wings from the north, south, and east sides. Most of the building materials were sourced in Texas. The only thing imported were roofing tiles and interior marble. Each floor of the 6-story courthouse had a specific function. The bottom floor was the storage area and also housed mechanical equipment. County courts and offices for county officials were on the 2nd floor. The 3rd floor was for the 3 district courts. More county offices were on the 4th floor. The top 2 floors of the building were the county jail. The courthouse had electric elevators, steam heat, a whole building vacuuming system, and every convenience and amenity found in the most modern buildings of the time. Work was finished in record time, and the new courthouse opened for business January 1st, 1915. That same year, the Nueces County Courthouse won a statewide competition for the most beautiful grounds in Texas. It also won the Arthur Evarts Award for 5 years in a row as the finest courthouse and grounds in Texas, getting to keep the Silver Awards Cup permanently. In 1919, the courthouse served as a shelter for residents fleeing the hurricane and served as a temporary morgue for victims of the storm. For 63 years, the 1914 courthouse was the center of all things legal in Corpus Christi and Nueces County. And as the county and city continued to grow, more room was needed at the courthouse. So in 1930, local architect Morris Levy was hired to design the west wing on the back side of the building. The new wing cost $150,000 and provided new space for the county clerk's office, constable, county surveyor, and the jail.
So the beauty of the building obviously would begin to deteriorate and decline, and efforts to restore it and replace it would also begin. Tell you what, if you'd like more information on the historic 1914 courthouse, you can scan the QR code you see on your screen, or you can go to our website, christv.com. Next week, in part 2 of our 4-part series on this historic courthouse, we're going to talk more about the beauty of the original structure and its decline. Until next time, I'm Andy Lascano.
For many of us across the country financially, especially those of us who are looking to own a home or townhome or anything of the sort. Well, construction of new townhome complexes are up nationally, and we're seeing this even right here in the Coastal Bend. Are they the solution for the affordable and first-time home buyer market? We'll find out.
I honestly love it.
It's almost 1 year after Maria Cherskaya bought her Seattle townhouse, and she is still one happy customer.
We need something new construction. We needed to be reasonably well situated next to the city because both of us are working.
The townhouse was a match that ticked all of her and her family's boxes and did it all within their budget.
The neighborhood is great, and the house in itself is what we were looking for.
I'd say in the last 10 years, we've seen a ton of townhouse development. I think they're cropping up all over the place.
Cherskaya's real estate agent Sharon O'Mahony, who has been in the Seattle real estate game for 20 years, says she's had many clients that have found their perfect home in today's imperfect market in a townhouse, a trend that can be spotted in many markets across the country. According to the National Association of Home Builders, townhouse construction made up almost 15% of single-family home starts the second quarter of this year. That's a 17.2% year-over-year increase for a second straight quarter, an all-time high since the data started being reported in the mid-'80s.
We have a huge middle housing problem, so this is something that's going to help us solve that partly, and I think it's a great solution for people.
If you are a first-time buyer, if you're someone who's looking to get onto the property ladder, a townhouse is going to look very appealing.
Charlie Langston, executive editor at Realtor.com, says there are few clear reasons why demand is high for a townhouse, one being price. She says there are 36 zip codes where townhouses are on average 30% cheaper than typical single-family homes. Take Raleigh, North Carolina, for example.
The median house price of a townhome in Raleigh is $463,000 roundabouts. However, the median house price for another kind of standalone single-family home is over $2.49 million.
Some other reasons Langston says are potentially cheaper insurance rates and the fact that townhouses are being built in places they typically haven't in the past.
Developers are building more townhouses townhouses in more rural areas because land prices have gone up. It's not as easy to take a big plot of land, stick one house in the middle of it, and expect to make good money off that.
Another plus, at least for Maria Charskaya, has been an instant sense of community. There are multiple townhouses on the same plot, and she's gotten to know her neighbors well.
Turned out amazing. Like, the whole neighborhood is very close-knit community.
So, will this trend be sticking around?
These are people who really want to establish themselves in a home, settle in, and be there for at least a few years. So I really do think that we are going to see townhouses as being a kind of prevalent theme for a few years to come at least.
Just flew by, just like the rest of the week will, I promise. But keep coming back for more. We have so much to learn about. There are so many great people here in the Coastal Bend. And if you're looking to get some holiday shopping done, I cannot stop raving about the cutest boutique out in Port Aransas, Boutique Bella Bella. Not only can you get your oil change next door at Miss Woody's, but then you can shop at the same time and grab all those holiday must-haves for your parties or for those stocking stuffers and gifts that you're looking for. So we've got a lot to cover tomorrow. Until then, visit us online at Coastal Living TV on Facebook and Instagram. Have a good one. We'll see you then.